Elon Musk just confirmed big news for Tesla. The 4680 cells are no longer the limiting factor for scaling the Cybertruck. Definitely not, because Tesla just produced its 100 million 4680 cell across all of Tesla's factories. Last year in October, we produced 20 million cell. In June of this year, we produced 50 million cell. And now, September 13th, we produced 100 million cell. So in theory, that's 50 million cells in just a little over 3 months, and the scale, the ramp is exponential. So even James admits that this is a very successful ramp. However, it is very important to note that specifically it was 50 million cell at Giga Texas for the previous milestone on June 5th. And it wasn't 50 million cell across all factories, but Giga Texas does make most of the 4680 cells, so this description is still mostly accurate from James. And certainly, the death of 4680 cells has been greatly exaggerated. So Tesla posted this picture, and while many people, or most of the people, are looking at this battery, I also noticed something in the background here, the bot, the Tesla Optimus bot. How many batteries do you think the bot made? Currently, it's going to be insignificant, just like how many batteries Tesla made 4680 cells 2 years ago, but looking forward, eventually it's going to be, the bot is actually making a lot of batteries. A Tesla engineer said that Optimus played a small role in producing 100 million 4680 cells. He did specify a very small, but certainly it played a role. So I see this as some good news as well, but I wouldn't consider it as anything material, not yet. And just to put everything into perspective, 100 million cells would create over 73,000 Cybertrucks. And Troy has come to some conclusions based on this new data from Tesla. Based on his calculations, Tesla's milestone of producing its 100 million 4680 cell means they produce 58 million cells this quarter, enough to build 43,000 Cybertrucks. However, actual Cybertruck production is less than half of that, which suggests the bottleneck isn't the 4680 cells, which is good news. Tesla finally has enough 4680 batteries to make as many Cybertrucks as it wants. This is a major change. So what is actually limiting Cybertrucks production right now? Troy presents one reason. I think there's actually quite a bit more to it. The more likely limiting factor is the high cost. Tesla has mentioned they are aiming for profitability by the end of the year, even though they are currently only selling the Foundation series, which starts at $100,000. In the meantime, hundreds of thousands of reservation holders are still waiting for the regular version, expected to start at 80,000. It's unclear if Tesla can reach profitability with that version or how long it might take to get there. Now, of course, Tesla will be profitable. Troy just usually speaks in 6-month, 12-month time frames, but I have no doubt that eventually, of course, the Cybertruck is going to be widely profitable. One reason why I think Tesla is not actually making more Cybertrucks right now is that right now they are still selling the Foundation series Cybertruck, and the demand for that particular model, that version of the Cybertruck, is limited now, and the Foundation series, like Elon Musk said earlier, is going to end soon. So Tesla, to some degree, on purpose, is not scaling the Cybertruck up. Because if you made a whole bunch of Foundation series Cybertrucks and you already know that you are going to end it because there isn't really enough demand to sell this incredibly expensive vehicle, why would you want to make a whole bunch more of that model? So Tesla could be stockpiling some of these 4680 cells to make the regular Cybertruck, which it will scale faster. At least that's one theory. Now, Tesla could also, if Tesla could just infinitely scale the 4680 cells immediately, they would start putting them in other models, and maybe in the new models or the new refreshes that Tesla will have soon. I'm talking about the Model Y refresh and the new, more affordable models. Anyway, overall, I see this as really good news for Tesla. And today is really the day that we can use this 4680 story to stick it to the Tesla bears who greatly exaggerated the death of 4680 cells, which is basically true just about anything with Tesla. It gets delayed, and then eventually, oh, it's here. And it actually works. You will see that with full self-driving as well. Oh, it's been delayed for so long. It's not working. It's never going to come. Oh, it's actually working. That moment is coming. The limiting factor account asked Elon, are the 4680 lines about to hit production cost parity with Tesla's third-party supplier of high nickel cells, you must be getting close. And with higher scale, it will only get closer and eventually it will surpass that cost. And Elon before said on one of the earnings calls that it will happen. And we now have actual evidence to believe, yeah, it is happening. Here, AJ put everything into perspective. Look at this exponential growth. Nothing is happening, nothing. Oh, something is now happening. This is definitely big news. China's new update reportedly shows a grayed out full self-driving supervised button. I definitely agree with Omar that it is material news. Here we got a translated version, says fully automated driving capability, driver supervised version, basically FSD supervised. I'm seeing a lot of Tesla bulls excited about this, and for good reason, because this definitely hints at Tesla launching FSD in China. There is quite a bit of big news stories that we need to cover. Here's another one. This is supposedly a heavily camouflaged Cybercab robotaxi on the Warner Brothers lot in California. It looks incredibly distinct. It looks like one of these Hot Wheel cars. Is this a final product, or is this just basically camouflage, which is not going to show you exactly how it's going to actually look in the end? Likely this is just camouflage, but I can certainly understand what Elon Musk now means, which is a comment that he made a long time ago. He said when he saw the robotaxi design for the first time, it looked like something from the future. Or he specifically said, people will think it's something from the future when they see it around the corner in a city. But this post from earlier is actually probably going to give us better insight in terms of what it's going to look like. Elon responded to a previous post before saying it's good design. This was in December, so of course some things would have changed by now, but overall Elon Musk liked this design. But there is a lot of discussion about this design here. The consensus right now is that it does have a plastic cover on top of it. I just found another source of this picture, and in this one we can also see another Tesla vehicle behind, and this one looks quite a bit bigger than this one. So the Cybercab in comparison looks somewhat tiny. Now, I'm not the only one who is noticing that. The Teslarati publication also points out that it does look significantly smaller compared to a Tesla Model Y, but there could be a little bit of lens distortion because this other Tesla vehicle is right on the edge of the picture. Here's an example of a lens distortion. All these squares are of equal size, but in this picture, obviously they don't look like that. The Warner Brothers studio employee was asked, was there a steering wheel? And seems like they themselves they didn't know. This article, by the way, is from Electric, but it's not written by Fred. I haven't read many articles from this reporter, but the ones that I have read, I have found them to be very dense with facts and basically no opinion. So they think that the yellow coloring looks to be automotive camouflage pasted onto the vehicle along with additional pieces of bodywork to obscure the shape of the vehicle body. The rumor suggests that it will be a two-door, two-seat car. If everything was removed, maybe it would look like this. Some people are speculating it could possibly look like this, but I doubt that. But there's definitely something in the back here. Another feature the spotted prototype sports is a small bump near the center of the roof at the top edge of the windshield. Is that a LiDAR bump? Right here, and you zoom in, clearly there is a bump, but it's sort of a bit weird here. But I think he's talking about this bump, I guess. The picture is a bit noisy, so it's hard to tell what is this exactly. Anyway, they think it's probably not LiDAR, but it could be. It could also be that, well, usually we do see LiDAR units on Tesla's vehicles before they get released, just for initial testing. Anyway, overall, I'm certainly happy to see this leak. Someone says there was another robotaxi spotted at Warner Brothers. I also agree with AJ that more leaks are inevitable and we will see quite a few more pictures probably before the event. Someone made this render. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of this. I mean, I like the front, but the back. If this is how it's going to look, it will take a little bit of time for me to get used to it. It's not love at first sight exactly, but maybe. I think the Model 3 though, the front at first are like, but then over time I actually started to sort of like it. Buying a Tesla at the end of the quarter still remains the best financial decision. If you want to buy a Tesla vehicle, you can put 0 down at signing and get a 36 to 72 month loan now. Tesla just introduced this new promotion in the US for the Model Y and the Model 3. But it actually makes sense why Tesla is doing it. Tesla is only doing it if you qualify for the $7,500 EV tax credit. So basically Tesla is getting that as a down payment to cover all of its costs. And AJ, because of this promotion, is estimating that a new all-time high quarterly delivery record is nearly guaranteed now. This is definitely good news for us Tesla bulls. Kyle posted a test here, which he did with a new Model 3 long-range all-wheel drive, which blew past EPA ratings. They traveled 370 miles at 70 miles per hour constant in their typical loop-style range test. It then traveled 2 further miles, not able to maintain 70 miles per hour before it became dead. But the bigger news is how much further it went than the original car with the same exact battery. Even accounting for degradation, the new car went 60 miles further than the old car on a perfect side-by-side comparison. So if you are buying a new Model 3, this is great news for you. So 20% more range from the same battery pack thanks to efficiency improvements in the new Model 3. Of course, the same is also expected with the new Model Y, which is coming out probably next year. There was some news that made Uber stock go up, and this is relevant to us Tesla stock investors. Beginning in early 2025, Waymo and Uber will bring autonomous ride-hailing to Austin and Atlanta only on the Uber app. So on this news, Uber is up 6%, Google is up 2%. As part of this partnership, Waymo will provide Jaguar I-Pace EVs that could number in the hundreds of vehicles, and I almost said hundreds of thousands of vehicles because I'm used to Tesla's scale, so this is how insignificant this really is. Uber will also provide fleet management services, including vehicle cleaning, repair, and other general operations. All Uber is doing is adding a markup on a technology that should be half to 1/4 the price of a regular Uber. Once you have a player like Tesla that can offer its own network plus a vertically integrated manufacturing capability that can spit out millions of self-driving cars per year, Uber's ability to offer compelling and price competitive products will diminish overnight. Uber is blockbuster, I agree with Farzad. But pricing is also going to come down. So pricing is only a matter of supply and demand. Now, the thing here is these robotaxis are not making money, so they have to be priced high. Gary Black fires back with this. Waymo is now at 1 intervention per 34,000 miles, and Tesla, of course, we know is way below that, but that's not a fair comparison either. Are Waymo vehicles driving in, for example, New York City? Because Teslas are, when you look at this data. It will be interesting to hear from Tesla if they are going to give us any sort of intervention data from the area where they are testing the robotaxi. Maybe they will say, well, we drove our robotaxi here for this many thousands of miles, and here are how many interventions we had. I doubt Tesla is going to share that data with us, but there's a small possibility they will. Elon Musk replied with exactly to Omar. Omar says, wow, my Tesla just drove me from my house to LAX and I didn't touch a thing. A moron. Omar said, yeah, well, Tesla is way behind in self-driving. Have you heard of Waymo or Baidu? They're the leaders. Can either of these, though, leaders take me from home to LAX? Well, your house is outside the geofence, and so is LAX. Also, they don't drive on highways yet. All right, cool. Call me when one of the leaders has a product that can do my daily drives for me at a reasonable cost. Until then, I'll just have to stick with Tesla. So Waymo currently has a 99.997% efficacy when it comes to driving within their geofenced areas and 0% efficacy anywhere outside of that. So, for example, take Seattle, take New York City, take Miami, 0%. Tesla, already in these places, can have efficacy of 96.6% based on what Gary is writing here. And Omar is teasing us here. Really nice first drive on Tesla FSD 12.5.2.1 for hardware-free, 0 interventions. He recorded it as well. Tesla seems to have succeeded in getting the hardware 4 model to run on full size on hardware 3. Hardware 4 and hardware 3 now perform identically. I'm not sure if that's really the case because Omar tends to get quite excited, but certainly it's a huge accomplishment by the AI team, and he thinks it is now finally probably ready for a wide release. Check this out. S&P Global Mobility says that Tesla delivered 5,175 Cybertrucks in July, so up 61% month over month, while other EV pickups combined sold just 5,546 units during the same period. So the Cybertruck is outselling almost all of these other EV pickup trucks combined. And this is with the Foundation series, which is ridiculously expensive for most people. Ooh, $85 million worth of Cybertrucks were spotted at Giga Texas factory on September 12th, which was Thursday. Drone estimates now suggest that Tesla is making about 2,000 Cybertrucks per week. It's also getting a bit trickier to know exactly how many Cybertrucks there are because Tesla is also using covered trailers instead of the usual car carriers. I mean, it's not really that difficult, but if they are inside already, you might miss a few. Look at this beautiful lot. Here's some good news mixed with some, let's call it explosive news. Tesla Giga Berlin's ongoing search for unexploded World War II munitions around the complex is almost complete, which is the good news. As per a spokesperson from the Brandenburg Interior Ministry, which is basically the local government, a total of 1,078 explosive ordnance items have been found so far. That's a lot of explosions. I really hope they found every single one because 1,500, that's a lot. And it's probably not extremely difficult to miss one or another one here and there, but they have all of the special equipment needed to make sure that they don't miss anything. And the area is huge. It's 86 hectares of land. It's a massive area. They also found 2 500-pound explosives from World War II, and they detonated them on site. You know, if I put bombshell news in the title, I don't think anyone could blame me for doing that. Literally, there are bombshells found. 1,578 of them and 2 massive ones. So what Tesla is doing right now is Tesla is seeking to expand Giga Berlin's existing facility, and the company also plans to build several more structures in the area, including a freight station. By the way, Tesla would still need to purchase some land for its planned expansion. This news publication noted that talks with Tesla about a potential sale are reportedly underway. So expect some negotiations to start soon. However, this purchase would still need to be approved by the state parliament's finance committee. There's some news from some Tesla analysts. For example, from Bank of America, we see a buy rating for Tesla stock. Overall on Wall Street, we see a hold analyst consensus rating for Tesla with a $209-ish average price target, which would be a small downside from where we are right now, but these analysts historically have been incredibly wrong long-term about Tesla, so it's not like this is really significant news. Also, there was a report from Canaccord Genuity, and they maintained a buy rating with a stock price target of $254 per share. Well, this is important to know. Tesla has called for bids for its groundbreaking virtual power plant in South Australia, a network of about 7,000 household batteries that can serve the world's most advanced renewables grid by helping it meet demand peaks. Tesla says that there is an opportunity to grow the system, but it wants to remain as a supplier of the battery products, the newly relaunched Powerwall batteries that are now in their third iteration, and the Autobidder software system, and it wants to do the installations. The decision, though, to sell the South Australia VPP is not expected to have any impact on Tesla's plans to launch its own retail energy business in Australia. It obtained a license for that project from the country's regulators in April and May, and this deal is said to be quite separate from those plans. Elon Musk here is praising Tesla's energy team. This is actually quite fascinating. On February 9th, a generator in Hawaii tripped, causing a rapid drop in frequency. Megapacks at Plus Power's KES facility responded within 250 milliseconds, providing 50 megawatts of fast power response from grid-forming frequency droop and fast frequency response controls, stopping frequency decline and ensuring the grid recover to the stable frequency level. All done very fast. Oh, my Filipino friends will like this news. Tesla seems to be setting the stage for an expansion into the Philippines auto market. This was hinted at by several job listings on Tesla's careers website for positions that are based in Manila. So Tesla still has a few more markets to expand into. These are not huge markets, but it will still help Tesla's bottom line a little bit. Rohan, who used to work at Tesla earlier, he says, even apart from the audio innovations from the Cybertruck team, Tesla premium audio is underrated, and I agree with that 100%. One of the first things that some people that are into music, when they step into a Tesla, they say, oh, sound system is pretty good. Rohan continues, when I'm in a rental or someone else's vehicle, the comparative difference in audio quality is often the first thing I notice. And there's this whole post here which explains why the sound is so good in the Cybertruck. It gets a bit technical. Feel free to pause if you like. You just gotta know that Tesla engineers, they know what they're doing. And Tesla's way of doing stuff here is called very clever engineering. It's not like that's unusual for Tesla. And Sawyer points out that the Cybertruck literally has the best from factory sound system I've ever heard in any vehicle ever. I personally haven't really tested the Cybertruck system. Yes, I'm not sure exactly how much better it is than in a regular Tesla, but regular Teslas have pretty good sound systems too. Anyway, he's really praising it here. Tesla even has patents that they use to improve sound quality in its vehicles. There's a new development in Brazil, which is relevant to us Tesla stock investors, because this is basically going to show to us what's going to happen to Tesla in Brazil. Brazil has unfrozen Starlink and Nexus assets after seizing a combined 3.3 million. So the unfrozen part is good, but is the money still seized? So they didn't get the money back, they just unfroze empty bank accounts? Is that what's happening? About 1.3 million was transferred from X's bank account, while about 2-ish million was transferred from Starlink. Yeah, I think I'm getting that right. So they unfroze the account after taking the money, so they did not give the money back. The money was transferred to the government's coffers. Whoa, so they are now giving it back. The way they justify it is, oh, it's a fine for non-compliance. Okay, that's for X specifically. How about Starlink and SpaceX? My understanding is they are saying, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with Starlink, but X did this, so therefore, Starlink, you know what, we're gonna collect the fines that we imposed on X from Starlink because, you know, it's also owned by Elon Musk, despite the fact that there are a lot of shareholders that do not own X, but own SpaceX. They could also say, oh, you know what, Elon Musk, you own a big piece of Tesla, so the fines that we impose on X, we're going to impose that on Tesla too, because we already did that with Starlink. And it would be one thing if Elon Musk owned the majority of SpaceX shares, but he doesn't. He doesn't own the majority of SpaceX shares. So if you think that it's impossible that that would happen with Tesla, I think that's not exactly the right way to look at things. Now, of course, Elon Musk owns a lower percentage of Tesla than he owns SpaceX, but still, this is relevant for us. Now, the Brazilian market, though, luckily is not a huge market for Tesla. It's not really that crucial or important. So it's not going to hurt a lot as some bad developments continue to happen over there, but still it's not nothing. Now, Elon Musk also just severely criticized the Australian government, calling them fascists over authoritarian misinformation law. But I think it's really unlikely that the Australian government would do anything similar to what the Brazilian government has done to SpaceX and X, which then puts Tesla at risk. I don't think there's anything to worry in that regard in Australia. Here's a quick update on that thing that Elon Musk just did, you know, which made history sort of again. This is related to SpaceX specifically and the Polaris program. The crew is now back on Earth safely after going into, relatively speaking, some deep space compared to where humans have been in the last 50-ish years or so. They went 3 times further than where the International Space Station is. And look at this landing here. Wow. Nice splashdown. A big shout out goes to the SpaceX team. The astronaut crew has successfully returned to Earth after completing a historic 5-day mission, which also included the first ever private spacewalk. That's it for today's video, and I will probably be back with another video on Tuesday or Wednesday. By joining Patreon, you will have access to all of my exclusive videos on Patreon, as well as how much I am willing to pay for each Tesla share between 2024 and 2033. If you join the investor tier, you will also have access to my valuation model, where you will see all of my assumptions, including deliveries, the energy business, Tesla's future businesses like FSD, and of course much more. And then if you want to easily download that and put in your own numbers, then this third tier is for you. To all of my Patreon supporters, thank you so much. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't yet as well. It's really important to like the videos because that makes it less likely that the channel will be shadow banned later, like my other big channel got shadow banned before from about 50% of my regular viewers. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.